Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here with an episode 5 review of Breaking Ground on the WWE Network. I'm catching up today. I'm getting into this, and I will honestly tell you that at the end of this episode, my heart was broke. Because of the fact that I'm 2 episodes behind. I watched episode 4, and then I watched episode 5. And in the last review of the last episode, I talked about the fact that I was really into the character of Cal Bishop. A guy that was, a wrestler. He had a club foot. He was bullied as a kid, and he was brought up to be this huge sort of a monster. He had a driving force behind him. When he was wrestling in a show match, his shoulder popped out, and then he just sort of kept on having these shoulder injuries over and over and over again. He finally got surgery, and he looked like he was going to be 100% ready to go. And at the end of episode 5, they fucking let him go. I know one of the reasons why WWE has the Breaking Ground episodes is so that when characters get brought on to NXT, or when the NXT people get brought up into WWE, you have a bond between these people, and it's sort of like you've already created a fan base for them, so you don't have to try and get these guys over. There's already going to be a number of fans behind these people pushing them to where you're going to know who they are, and that's why you care about them. But it sucks. I liked Cal. I can honestly say that I never saw him wrestle a match. I don't know how good of a wrestler he would have been, but Cal Bishop is somebody that honestly I really liked, and I hope I get to see more of somewhere down the road. At the beginning of this episode, they show ZZ. ZZ is the guy that's been put into every episode. I don't know if they think it's because he's a star, because of Tough Enough, people are going to want to go there. I've seen enough of him. Honestly, he's there, he's having cardio, and he's having trouble doing what he's doing in the ring. Honestly, to me, I hope that they just take this guy out and they release him. I don't know what you're going to get out of this guy as a character in WWE, but they keep trying to see what they're going to be able to get out of him. They talk about the Hype Bros. The Hype Bros are getting ready for a show, and they talk about the fact that they have scheduling problems because of the fact Zack Ryder is still on the main roster. He wrestles house shows and he does Monday Night Raw, and then it looks like he just basically goes to NXT for the weekend shows. So it's almost like they have to start over every time they get down there, because they have Mojo wrestling as a singles wrestler, they have Zack wrestling as a singles wrestler, and then the weekends they pair them together as the Hype Bros to get them ready to go out there and do what they're going to do. They talk about the story of Cal Bishop, which I just went into. They are into a character developing for Nia Jax, who honestly, you see her and she's all, make-upped up, and she's, been glamorized for NXT and things like that. But, when you see her stripped down, training at the Performance Center and things like that, I don't know how old she is, but she comes off as an older person. I don't know if it's because she already tried one dream, and because of her family connections, now they're putting in their Performance Center, or maybe the fact that she wrestled on the Independents. I don't know a lot about her, but I just was caught off guard by how she looked older than a lot of other people, and you saw Aaliyah, who we've talked about in past reviews of NXT, going to her for advice, and her, sort of being, it almost seemed like she was the mom of the group to all the divas and all the girls that are there at the Performance Center. Tyler Breeze is getting a chance to help as almost basically being a coach, because of all the time that he's spent at the Performance Center, and how he's sort of gradually becoming more advanced than a lot of the people there. At this time, he's almost 100% ready to be brought up to the main roster, and to be leaving. So he's in the ring. He's talking to the girls about what Tyler Breeze is, and how he sort of made the character of Tyler Breeze by telling them he has to find something for fans to be able to sort of mimic him or remember him once he walks away from the ring. What is a kid going to do? Is it going to be trying to copy the style of voice he has, or maybe the mannerism that he has when he's getting into the ring? What are the things that they're going to bring to when they're playing as wrestlers? What are they going to do to play as being Tyler Breeze? Tyler Breeze talks about the fact that how he sort of created his character was going back and watching a lot of the old Gorgeous George, footage that is out there. The fact that basically he would have servants go into the ring and basically spray the ring down with sanitizer and clean the ring up, spray it with perfume even before Gorgeous George would get into the ring, almost becoming this whole outside entertainment factor before the wrestling match would even start. We look into the guy Tino, who is a former football player for the Bucks. He's 100% out of the concussion holding pattern that he was in, and he's even got his brother an NXT tryout. His brother is actually what got Tino into NXT, because Tino's brother was going to be going to the NXT tryouts. Because of this, Tino tagged along. WWE liked what they saw in Tino, and they ended up not liking what they saw in his brother. As his brother is getting ready for his tryout, he's received some bad news that he has an injury, and the injury is going to make it where he's not going to be able to try out for NXT. And these brothers sort of have this moment where they're like, these things sort of happen, and there's always going to be another day down the road, and they're going to have to get ready for the next tryout, and it is what it is. We see a class of all the divas that are in NXT. Well, I guess they're not divas, so I guess they're women sitting around, and they say they get in there once a week, and they talk about the current status of WWE. They talk about the current events. They talk about what's getting over, what's not getting over. They show them actually watching an episode of Total Divas, which I found kind of funny, because it's almost like the girls from NXT want to become 100% what is not Total Divas. They want to be known for their wrestling, and not for the 100% behind the stage sort of craziness, which is the life of a total diva. We see the guy come in who we saw at the end and the very beginning of episode 1 and episode 2. This is the guy from Talent Relations who is basically coming in, and whenever we see this guy walking around, we think that bad things are going to happen. We saw him lead Tino into a conference room, which we thought maybe was going to be Tino's last day in NXT, but it ended up being, once they came back, it was the announcing girl that I just forgot her name, because I was going to call her Dana Brooke, and that's not the right name. Devin Taylor. We saw Devin Taylor released at the very beginning of episode number 2. So people are wondering, what is going to be going down, but we are receiving good news, as basically everyone comes into the room. We see Apollo Crews, we see Jason Jordan, we see Nia Jax, all sat down at the table and basically told, because of their, very well performance and their very good coaches reviews, and how they're moving up on becoming a more valuable NXT superstar, they're going to be receiving a raise. Apollo Crews actually receives a double raise, going up 2 status points in his status in NXT. The last person and the only person that has ever received that was Kevin Owens. So you can sort of tell that NXT knows that Apollo Crews is going to be a main deal sooner than later. Nia Jax was becoming a person that was going to be used on television. You can see how she got her raise. And Jason Jordan and Chad Gable are really burning up the tag team division on the show. So they all deserve their raise. And at this point, Cal Bishop is led into the room. We don't see any of the coaches go in with him. It's just a one-on-one meeting. And almost as soon as the conference room door shuts, the guy just goes right to it. And he says, I'm not going to take any more of your time. I'm going to jump right to it. I'm here today to let you go. And that is where the episode ends. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I mean, they really built up a relationship with this guy, and they really made you want to learn more about this guy. I actually went to his Twitter page as I was watching the first one, and I gave him a follow. I even gave him a tweet saying that I don't know anything about you. I'm learning from you from watching Breaking Ground, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of you in the foreseeable future. So we'll see what goes on with Cal Bishop. Hopefully this is not the end of the road for him, and we can see what happens with him in the foreseeable future. Maybe he gets another chance. Maybe we see him go to New Japan. Maybe we see him go to TNA. But in the little moment that we got was very good. So that was I believe episode 5. It's been so long, the pictures are starting to show up on my screen. Which was called Call It a Comeback, which was, I honestly thought they were going to play on it, and it was going to be Cal was having a comeback, and I thought he was going to be training in the ring, but it is what it is. Lots of ZZ, Hype Bros, Cal Bishop, Nia Jax, Noop, Tyler Breeze, Tino, and the girls watching Total Divas. Breaking ground, really, really fun. Hopefully I can get back on track. This is probably going to be playing after Monday Night Raw on the WWE Network again. So hopefully if they're going to stay to a schedule, I can stay to a schedule, and we'll see where we go from there.